All right, hello everybody. I'm here with Diane, one of my one-on-one custom nutrition clients. Diane and I actually just recently finished up our 6-month program here, and we're going to chat a little bit about some of your experiences and let Diane introduce herself.
Hello, I'm Diane. Yep, Jeremy just finished up with me, so I graduated, I guess.
Yes, you're moving on. Looking back at when you and I first did connect, Diane, a little over 6 months ago to start off this whole journey together, what were some of the goals that you had in mind, and what were some of the things that you wanted to achieve as we started that program together?
For about the year and a half prior to you and I starting, I just kept continually gaining weight a little bit, which added up to about 10 to 13 pounds. And so really my main goal was to stop moving in that direction and then lose about 10 pounds. So that's kind of what I was thinking.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
When you first started, and kind of rewinding back to when we started working together, what were some of the challenges that you were having or the obstacles that you were running into with trying to do this on your own?
Well, I couldn't really figure out why I was stuck. I tried different things. I've tracked my macros and calories and all of that good stuff for years. And so that really wasn't doing it. And I tried different macro counts and that really wasn't it. And I just kept cinching, with more weight. And so, I pretty much just stuck to that. I mean, I've tried paleo. I kind of thought that was the answer, which is not very exciting. And actually paleo for me was hard to get my macros done. So it was kind of an extra battle. But those were the things I fell to. I mean, with exercise and stuff, I kind of stayed the same. So I didn't really change much up there, but yeah, I just kept thinking if I keep tracking and I keep sticking to that, I'll lose the weight. But I mean, it was like a year and a half and it just kept moving in the wrong direction.
Sure. And I think it's important to note when you mention about the fitness aspect of it, your activity level hasn't changed all that much even since you and I have started working together. You came into our program very active, avid CrossFitter, adding in supplemental running, additional exercises, and just living an active lifestyle as well. So you came in very active, very similar activity level all throughout our program. And the cool piece for that is you and I both being data individuals, we know that if the activity stayed the same, but you're 10 pounds less, and our variable there was the nutrition, we know that dialing that in was really what mattered. And it wasn't you having to add in extra long cardio, add in more workouts, spend more time walking, or anything, honestly, anything related to fitness at all.
I mean, that would have been easier for me if that would have been the solution.
And it's the solution that most people tried, and I know that you've shared like that you've tried that in the past too, and we've realized in our 6 months together that there were some other variables that, regardless of how hard you were going to work in the gym or on the runs or being active, that weight was still coming on.
Mm-hmm. Which was frustrating.
Absolutely, you're putting in all the work but not getting any of the results.
Yeah.
Again, looking back to when you and I first started and we first connected, was there something in particular that was going on that made you decide, okay, this is it, I have to go ahead and try something different? Or really, what sparked you to actually start this conversation with me?
I think it was two different things. One, in something you had said was that you were focused on, I want to say people over 35 or something like that. And I kept thinking, okay, it's not my workout routine. I'm working out enough. I keep tracking, perhaps it's related to my age. I have no idea. So I was excited about that.
Yep.
And then also that you don't have to give up all the food and beer that you enjoy. So that I'm like, okay, that sounds too good to be true.
And, in your and I's case, we've definitely had conversations about limiting certain aspects and playing around with the foods, but how have you felt as far as restriction or, particular rules, can eat this, can't eat that? Can you talk a little bit about how we've incorporated some of those things, continued to stay in your diet, but also obviously seeing results?
Yeah. We had a lot of conversations around alcohol, specifically beer. And even upping my protein around those days and preparing for maybe up to 2 days before I know I'm going to have, a fun weekend.
Yep.
And then the afterwards too, how to I guess, make up for that change in what I'm consuming has made a pretty big impact. And I think I keep doing that too now. You know, I have that into my head, and it's not even a huge adjustment. It's just being thoughtful in different ways. So, so yeah, that's been really helpful, I think.
Good. Absolutely. You know, the too good to be true is interesting because there is always a give and take. And I think it's misleading to say you can have all of everything you want and obviously still get the results. But you're a great example where we don't have to cut out everything that you enjoy and live a boring lifestyle just so that you can also lose some weight along the way. If you were to look, Diane, at the last 6 months, you know, us working together for the last 6 months, what has been the biggest impact, do you think, that has started to turn the dial for you to be able to see weight loss, and more importantly, in the tail end of our 6 months, being able to maintain that weight loss as well?
You know, I feel like we've tried different things. You've changed the approach throughout, and I would say consistently following that. Because I think if I wouldn't have, I mean, we wouldn't have known how to pivot or what works, what doesn't work. So, you know, just sticking to the plan. I think right out of the gate, we stuck to the same food for a couple weeks to kind of level set. And then going from there, you know, just really being consistent with what you're telling me to do for whatever amount of time.
You know, looking at the pivoting portion of things, I traditionally work with a lot of data-driven individuals and people that are really interested in the behind the scenes of the, not necessarily the science of weight loss, but being able to track information throughout. Would you mind touching a little bit on how we've used some of the data and some of the tracking to help you pivot along the way?
Yeah, one of the really interesting approaches I thought was weighing in every single day. I thought that would be a little bit unhealthy and an overload. And I actually like data, as you know.
Yes.
So I thought, well, this might be interesting. But it was funny to really recognize the patterns of the days of the week that were making a difference. And like, you know, like Tuesdays would be usually my increased day from maybe Sunday or whatever. You could really figure out that pattern and adjust, not my whole world, but adjust that day that's making that impact 2 days later or whatever that might be. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting approach, and it worked.
For sure. And you know, speaking of the tracking and the logging, would you mind talking a little bit about how we have been able to also take a little stress out of your day? I know that you are a long-time tracker, and for many years that was the way that you always equated to weight loss or being able to stay on track, was by inputting food into MyFitnessPal. You know, I'll give the secret up here, but over the last almost month and a half, almost 2 months now, we've taken logging completely out of your day. Can you talk about how you've still been able to survive and still been able to thrive without the logging?
Yeah, that was tough, weirdly enough. As you know, I've been logging for years and years and years, good, bad, or otherwise. I would put it in there. And I guess by now I really know the food and the impact and what the macros are kind of, but I still logged it. It's been really freeing, I would say, for the last 6 weeks or so, not to put it in there and really not overthink it. Just know, you know, I need more protein or whatever. And just grabbing those go-tos that we kind of already set up and talked about too, that I always have on hand to meet whatever macros I feel like I might be, you know, kind of short on today or whatever. So sure. I look forward to continuing not to track going forward.
Yes, that's a piece that people are in a love or hate relationship, and it's usually one or the both or both of them at the same time. So being able to see you come out of that hesitant and me pushing you a little bit outside of your comfort zone, but I think that you've proved to yourself now that you have built the knowledge, the education, the confidence to be able to do this without having to put it in your phone, and that there is success beyond just being able to log every day.
Yeah, and I would say that it's a lot less stressful traveling too, not because you know, if I'm traveling for work, I don't necessarily have those macros that I need to put into my phone to make me whole for that day. So not overthinking that piece has been really nice.
Looking at the travel, Diane, we've hit a lot of different things throughout the course of our 6 months together, both vacation, work travel up north, cabin, away, all the things that come within a 6-month time frame of knowing each other and being together in this fashion. Can you talk a little bit about how this program has been able to incorporate all of those pieces of life, and how it's been able to fit into those areas of life too?
Yeah, so I usually pack what I normally have. I have my go-tos that I actually enjoy eating. I have collagen and protein bars and that kind of stuff that I kind of do every day and fit in. Those are easy to travel with. But when I'm outside of that, outside of the 60 protein grams that I know I can get from that, or whatever that is, it's easier for me to focus on what's in front of me and what makes sense, like filling up my plate more so with important things, and then maybe sprinkling with some other things. And even, my love of chai tea, that's a little unhealthy. I still have it once in a while, but I kind of offset it on the days where I know I'm not going to be doing something just as bad, or whatever. If it's like, we're probably going to drink beer tonight, I'm not going to have the chai tea.
Sure.
That'll be a different day, so kind of planning that way, one or the other.
Absolutely. I like that. My final question, Diane, you rewind back again, right at the beginning of our program. What would you say to someone who was potentially in the situation that you were when we started, that maybe is a little bit hesitant to start working with a coach, or maybe a little bit hesitant to start this sort of online coaching relationship?
For me, I think that the accountability was huge here. Just that we met pretty often. I tell people, you were really in my business. You were sending me, you knew I would go away, you'd send me recipes, for breakfast that I could make for everyone that would be like reasonable and not something weird. So, I mean, it was really good to have that accountability and like I said, stick with it and have you help me pivot and understand why. Like I said, the daily weigh-ins, and then understand, oh yeah, that's weird that Tuesday is heavier. So I would not have figured that out on my own, obviously, because I was trying to for the last year and a half.
Sure.
So I think it's just a helpful approach to have somebody on your side wanting you to be successful and trying different things.
I appreciate you sharing, did the whole gamut of your story and a little bit about some of the one-on-one things you've been working on. I know that your story, being busy, having a lot of work responsibilities, travel, and enjoying a normal lifestyle are going to resonate with a lot of people. So I appreciate you sharing on how we've been able to incorporate all of those into your success, and congratulations on that.
Thank you. It's been good.